there, Marcinera here again. Today, I am redoing an episode I never released, which was episode number 13, because today is the first of one of those really important anniversaries I discussed back in episode 2, but I didn't bring it up then. And it's complicated, so I'm going to need to explain. I don't know if anybody else experiences this the same way I do, so I am curious if any of you went through something similar. When I first started transitioning, I was a completely different person. I was constantly depressed and used role-playing and video games to cope with being forced to live my life feeling utterly wrong all of the time. And you could see this in the review that I wrote for RimWorld shortly before transitioning, a game I rather hated but used to waste time. It starts with me mentioning this depression. But after I started taking hormones, I started feeling very different. In a good way. I figured that maybe I could start trying to become more like my favorite RP character, Cinera. She's a very chaotic demigod that loves breaking the rules, figuring out loopholes, and above all, stream of conscious style mass illusions. I could probably talk about her for ages and never remotely cover the depth of what she's done in our gaming sessions. When I decided to change my name legally, I took her name as my new middle name. It's actually now my preferred name. But after a few months of me thinking about how she would try to live my life differently from me, this was back in about March of 2024, I mused over how I swear she was talking through me at times. But this was purely in my head, right? And when my depersonalization disappeared in July of last year, surely I was becoming more complete, or was it Cinera who was? It was a confusing time, and I felt like I had two distinct personalities inside of me that could even talk to one another like individual people. One was the old, quiet, extremely introverted me, and the other was this lively, talkative, and quite extroverted Cinera. I would often look in a mirror and use my old voice for Mark when talking for him, and then use my new voice talking for Cinera. And the shift felt so strange but natural at the same time. I could do it in my head too, though it took a lot more effort. Then, a year ago, on October 2nd, I had a drastic change. When I woke up that day, everything felt so new and different. It's like I'd been playing a game with a dark and grim UI all of my life up to that point. And then I woke up one day and everything was bright, colorful, and shiny instead. But, importantly, the old me, Mark, was gone. I could no longer talk to him in my head, or even talking to a mirror, or any other way. I didn't feel him, hear him, or see him at all anymore. I even took this picture of me looking in a mirror and sent this message to my wife when I first realized what was going on. The new me, I had taken over completely, and the previous personality, the me that was Mark for oh so long, was completely gone. He didn't even say goodbye. To say I felt alone and scared would be an understatement, because I was not ready, and I certainly didn't want to be alone again. I tried to explain this to so many people, how I felt like the old me had basically died off, and here I was, a fresh person with 46 years of experiences, skills, memories, and a life behind me, but none of it was my own. I have also been having to try everything again because all of the likes and dislikes are so vastly different from what my memories tell me they should be. So those that I talked to, aside from my wife, just shrugged off my feelings on the change. In some cases I hear that a lot with trans people as they transition. But to me, an old friend had died, they'd gone away, and I came to be from his ashes like some sort of trans phoenix. I even have a wallet with a trans phoenix on it to commemorate that. And this was normal? I'm going to make a shift now because this has become my norm. I regularly use my dead name now to talk about the person I no longer am and refer to him as he, him, even though he did start transitioning into what I've become. I don't mind if other people do the same thing, referring to the old me, but please don't refer to me now that way. In person, I regularly let it be known that I am trans, and I wear signs basically all the time. I've got a trans bracelet on even. But I'm honoring the memories of the old me, of Mark, by not letting him be forgotten, like so many other people seem to have done. It doesn't matter to me how angry I felt that he waited so long to transition due to being extremely introverted or his fears at being outcast by his family or friends. And technically, I didn't even lose my family or most of my friends. They just largely gave a collective shrug. So his decades of delays just made it even worse. The fact that I never actually even met any of my own family, and they don't really care, it hurts, but I get it. Mark wasn't close with any of them. But none of that really matters right now, because he's been gone for a year. He'll never come back, and only my wife and I mourn him. Goodbye, Mark.